Buenos dias, gentes. Today is Revenge of the 6th. I hope that hangover's treating you good. We're going to talk about Star Wars, bullies, cultural appropriation, and El Cinco de Mayo. So buckle in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Brushfire Mind. Alright, so for now at least, we'll see what happens. It's just me, but the back door is open. We'll see how that goes. Anywho, we just passed the 4th of May, Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. I want to talk about some Star Wars stuff, but we'll get to that in a little bit because I think Cade is going to sneak in on us in a minute here. And that is definitely his bailiwick. So I'm sure we'll have a hell of a chit chat once he's in his spot. So, and then I also want to talk about this video that's going around from Comedy Central. I thought about showing it to you, but it's like a 3-minute video, and you want to listen to me talk. That's why you're here. But we'll get to that in a minute too. The bullying thing, and again, I think that's going to be a hell of a conversation because I know Cade is going to disagree with me on this point, but we'll see how that goes too. Just buckle in for that. A little something to look forward to. So while we're waiting on Cade, let's talk about the Donald. So been a good couple of weeks for the Donald. Peace in Korea. Looks like he's about to have secured the release of some North Korean prisoners. Well, U.S. prisoners in North Korea. Where of course Obama failed miserably. And you see, I've got a rag here to wipe my glasses off with. So, and we got new unemployment figures out, down below 4%. Funny thing about unemployment numbers. Remember back in 2012 when Obama was running for re-election, and no president has ever been re-elected with unemployment figures above 8%. That's just a historical fact. And feel free to fact check me on it. Hey, buddy.
Hello.
I was just telling him that I'm going to wait to express my support for bullies until you got here, because I'm sure you'll disagree with me.
Okay.
And,
yeah, sounds like it.
yeah, it's going to be fun though. Have you seen the Comedy Central YouTube video that's been going around on Facebook? It's okay. We'll get there in a minute.
Okay.
So. There's the man.
Where are you?
There you is.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, there I is. There.
Yeah, that's behind.
Gotcha.
They ain't seeing us yet. This is what they will be seeing in now. Okay. They's all caught up now. So, what I was just talking about, new unemployment figures are out. Back in 2012, when Obama was running for re-election, the unemployment numbers suddenly dropped from like 8.25 to 7.86 or so, or 7.9.
Miraculously.
Just
like
miraculous.
30 to 40 days before.
October,
in fact. It was
and of
October
course
numbers.
that oh look, what a great job he's done getting unemployment down below 8%. But this it'll never be below 5% again. This is the new normal. Yes, dear. I did start. I was 2 minutes late starting the show tonight, babe, because I went and took a leak, and then I started coffee. Because I love you. Because you're pretty. So, yeah, that first commenter there, I'm sure you've all surmised by now, but that woman that constantly comments and harangues me, that is my hot young wife. And, buddy, I couldn't be prouder of her. Yeah. Anywho. But the Donald, okay, we're in the middle of an off-year election cycle, but I hadn't really started to kick up yet. You know, we're not hearing a lot of election ads. We're not hearing. It's just not happening yet. You know, the election's still a few months off for the midterms. We heard all that noise about the blue wave. Haven't been hearing a lot of noise about the blue wave since peace broke out in Korea. And now we've got unemployment below 4%, 3.9%. That's a big deal. Peace breaking out in in Korea, right? The end of the Korean War after 75 years almost.
All that eight years worth of work on Obama's part, and we're finally getting unemployment down. I mean, he really did a great job.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, everything right before this most recent election, right before Trump won, we started to hear whispers of Russia and all this stuff. And the Donald did make the accusation that, or he suggested that if he didn't win, it would be because Hillary had colluded with the Russians to buy the election. And more, it's looking like he didn't make that claim arbitrarily. More and more, it's looking like Republican opposition research had identified the source material of the Democrat opposition research, which we now know later became the Steele dossier and spawned the ludicrous Trump-Russia collusion investigation. So,
forgive me for checking my phone. I thought it might have to do with your wife and coffee.
That's fine.
And I was really excited.
Would you like a cup of coffee?
Yeah, but I can't make her do stuff.
Babe, if you would bring Kate a cup of coffee, he will, he'll still love you if you don't, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I really will.
You totally destroyed.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Where was I?
Pavlov's dogs. Last time I got a text when I was on this show, it was about bringing coffee. And I just got really excited. I'm so sorry. Colluding with Russia.
Oh, yeah. So, right before... Okay, thanks, babe.
Love you.
Jinx. So, right before the election, before everybody but me knew that Donald Trump was going to win,
Yeah.
I called the shit out of that before everybody but me knew. Obama had that tirade where he said, no serious person can possibly believe, and this is almost verbatim, no serious person can possibly believe that the American general election could be rigged. And he went on to explain that this is because of the size of the election, the number of people involved, and the dispersal of the elections. Because the way the elections work here is the country doesn't vote for the president. Each state doesn't even vote for the president. The president is voted for by county. The counties are tallied up to the state, and the states are tallied up to the national. Right? So,
via representatives.
Yes. It is a representative republic. But the point is that in order to sway the election, there's just too many places that you would have to be involved. And you would have to be physically and directly involved because the voting machines are not connected to a network. What's up, Yosef? Guys, we got a celebrity in the house. My buddy over at Osiah Media. He and I are gonna probably get together tomorrow and start working on some videos for you guys. We're doing a little collaboration work and see what we can come up with. Good to see you here, brother. Oh, this is my boy Cade. You'll have to meet him as soon as possible. Anywho, so yeah, Obama said no serious person could believe that the election was tampered with. He sure has been. Mostly, he's been quiet on the whole Russia scandal, but when he has spoken on it, he is definitely leaning in the direction of suggesting that this occurred, that Donald Trump bought the election via the Russians, which is clearly ludicrous. Now,
What'd you get stuck on?
Now we're, huh?
What'd you get stuck on?
I'm not sure where I was going with that next. I think I've covered my point about election scandal and falsified.
Have we heard anything from him since the collusion accusations? Is he suddenly
very little?
Is he suddenly open to elections being tampered with?
Oh yeah, that yes, but he's been very, very quiet. Very. He's stayed off the radar for the most part. I don't want to go into that too far. I'll show you some stuff after the show, and we can talk about it more at another time. But anyway, that he did pull that sudden 180. Now, here's the thing. Here's the major point that I wanted to get to. So you got the Donald, lowest black unemployment ever, lowest women's unemployment ever, total unemployment down below 4%. Huge gains in the stock market. Oh, but the losses. Yes, the stock market goes up and down, but overall it's up drastically. Hugely. Huge. China's coming to the table to negotiate. North Korea is coming to the table to negotiate. The trade war, the terrifying trade war that was going to come from the tariffs. Oh, see, something Americans need to remember is that shit that scares you scares other people too. Now, I'm not arguing that one should rule through fear. I don't like that methodology at all. I mean, if I were down for the whole ruling through fear thing, I'd vote for the guy that was screaming about the ignorance and danger of those crazy people in the Midwest that cling to their Bibles and guns. You know, if I wanted to stir up fear, there's your guy right there. But that doesn't mean that the carrot and the stick are not viable negotiating tools. So the fear of a trade war, it's not just us that worries about a trade war. But the thing is, we've basically just been rolling over and showing our belly in all negotiations for decades now. And that was one of the big things that Donald ran on. But all that great stuff that he's accomplished, and what are we talking about in the media right now? What's the big Donald Trump headline this week?
This week I haven't seen a lot of news, but I keep hearing Stormy Daniels' name.
So this week, Donald Trump hired Rudy Giuliani to be his counsel. And so Giuliani is out talking about Stormy Daniels' thing. And Trump has admitted that he reimbursed Michael Cohen the $130,000 that Michael Cohen, Trump's lawyer, who got raided in what I still think is a dubious warrant. But Trump admitted that he reimbursed Cohen the $130,000 that Cohen paid to Daniels for hush money. Now, on the Stormy Daniels thing, it's not that I doubt that the Donald banged the porn star. And it's not that I'm certain that the Donald banged the porn star. I don't care And if it is the case that he had an affair with Stormy Daniels and then paid her $130,000 to shut up for the election, honestly, I just wish he'd have come out and said it. You know,
I wish he'd demand his money back.
Well, that's
a lot of hush money.
Oh no. Funny thing about hush money, when you pay somebody hush money like that, she signed a non-disclosure agreement.
Uh-huh.
So it's not $130,000. It's millions. And he is going after her for it. And he absolutely should. She should be immolated.
If we can't make Mexico pay for the wall, make the porn star pay for it.
Exactly. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I personally would like to extend an invitation to every woman that has ever had an affair with Donald Trump to voluntarily disclose that affair, violate any non-disclosure agreements that you have signed, and help us fund the wall. Bring it on, kids. Bring it on. So, but that's the big news story about Donald Trump this week. Not that despite Obama's failures, that Donald looks like he's about to have secured the release of prisoners from North Korea after some years. Not unemployment below 4%. No. It's he may have had sex with a porn star. Okay. Old rich dudes hire hookers. Here's the thing. And this is why it's not going to hurt Trump badly. And it shouldn't. It shouldn't because we conservatives cannot afford for something like this to take down the president. And let me tell you why the Donald won. Obama ran, and we put up John McCain. Painted John McCain as a war hero. Right? But he didn't cut the mustard. Now, I didn't care for John McCain when he ran. Since I've met him and had a conversation with him and seen more of his policy maneuvers since that election that he failed so miserably at, I have come to loathe him. I wouldn't piss in his face if it was on fire. But McCain, I mean, at the time he was reasonably scandal-free. Obama won that election because he was young, black, and pretty. That's it. That's it. He didn't have a record to run on. He did not make any promises except for universal health care and change.
Even people with limited vocabularies know what hope and change mean.
He said hope and change and
a lot.
And he said universal health care. And that's it. Yeah. That was the only other promise that Obama made during his 2008 campaign is he promised that if he were elected, we would invade Pakistan. He made that promise.
Now he also did promise to pull the troops out.
Not in 08.
Yeah, he did. Because he didn't do it until he was 2 years into his second term. But he promised to pull them out.
Oh, that's
from the very beginning.
But he was very clear. He only made the statement one time. But he was very clear that he intended to invade Pakistan. Specifically because we believed that Osama bin Laden was hiding there. And I was actually for that. I was all for that. And that's not exactly how it went down, but... Now, you know what? I'm glad I brought that up because it reminds me of something. Okay. We got Osama while Obama was in office. And Obama spiked that football.
His touchdown dance lasted another 4 years.
And, yeah, I mean, it was literally a talking point for the Democrat Party during the 2016 campaign.
It was as if he marched into the compound and did it.
Exactly.
I mean,
now we've got peace breaking out in North Korea, and oh no, Trump didn't have anything to do with that. Okay, let me put that shit in perspective. The hunt for Osama bin Laden had been going on for 8 years when Obama was elected.
I love you.
Hey, babe.
She's
I'm good. Thank you. I love you. The hunt for Osama had been going on for 8 years when Obama was elected. And then we were 2 years into Obama's term when we got him. I do mean we, because Osama got capped on my birthday, and I wasn't there. I didn't pull the trigger, obviously. I'm not claiming that. I wasn't in Pakistan. I was in Afghanistan. I was deployed in support of Operation Enduring Freedom on the ground. It was my 30th birthday, and we had just done some missions and gotten some bad guys ourselves, and we were grilling some burgers over a pallet bonfire and having a little bit of a birthday party with some Cuban cigars, because there's no embargo in Afghanistan, so you can buy them at the base, at the NATO base. So we were having some cigars and grilling some burgers, and I get the call over my radio. Hey, we got Osama. So you're gonna have to repeat that. But anyway, that's how that went down.
Geronimo.
But Obama was in office. He quibbled, and almost, the story says that he almost decided not to order the hit. But this is one of those things. It comes across your desk. You're the President of the United States, and an intelligence report comes across your desk. Hey, we've cornered Hitler. Do we execute him? Well, obviously. Osama bin Laden, same thing. You are not the president anymore if you say no when evil men are going to be killed. When evil men are about to be removed from the world, you do it. You make them go. But he spiked the football. It was all his plan. It was all his doing. That is something that the military had been working on for nearly a decade before he was even running for the presidency.
Even Hollywood could not give him credit for it.
Right.
If any of you have seen Zero Dark 30, great movie. Even it does not paint the Obama administration in the strongest light, I guess I could say. Not against them, but it makes them appear very, very weak. And that's a Hollywood movie.
So you fast forward to Trump and the Koreas. For the last year, we've had North Korea saber rattling and posturing. We've seen them do this before. And every time they've done it before, the President of the United States has just rolled over or written them a check and just kept sending food aid. And in the case of Bill Clinton, actually funded the establishment and the creation of their nuclear weapons program. And he kind of got conned on it. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Julie.
So I think Clinton kind of got conned on it, but he got conned on it because he wanted to. He's an old neocon socialist like the rest of them. Obama stroked him a check and helped him keep the program going. Here comes the Donald with his Twitter account and walks into the UN and flops his great big old brass balls on the desk and says, "Hey, Rocket Man, keep waving that saber, and I will literally destroy your country." Oh! And then, only after that, see, that is a direct and specific action, which is contrary and clearly divergent from previous administration's active policies. And the results speak for themselves. The definition of insanity is, it's often said that the definition of insanity is to repeat the same action over and over again and expect a different result. Well, Bush wrote him a check, Clinton wrote him a check, Bush wrote him a check, Obama wrote him a check, and nothing changed. We got more saber rattling and more bullshit. But Trump came in and said, lose my fucking number. And all of a sudden, Kim Jong-un is being handheld to step across the border, to step right across the 38th parallel and engage in actual peace talks. But what are we talking about in America? That Donald Trump slept with a porn star. So why did we vote for a man who we know to be, shall we say, loose with women?
I don't know. Why'd they vote for Clinton twice?
Oh, Democrats love to vote for bad people.
Yeah, but then they pretend they're not.
But Republicans, we ran Romney. Romney was a choir boy. And all of a sudden, as far as the headlines were concerned, he murdered people with cancer by shutting down their factories. And he chained his dog to the back of the car and dragged him through the desert to go on vacation. Right? You know, all of a sudden, Mitt Romney's a monster. He stuffs women in binders and clips them into the 3-ring binder by their not previously pierced nipples. Right? We ran a choir boy.
These are horrible mental images you're giving me.
Yeah, exactly. We ran a choir boy, and they made him a monster. Herman Cain. Herman Cain is brilliant, great guy, fantastic hugger.
I'll have that on my resume.
I met Herman Cain at one of the Trump rallies during the election, and I've talked to him on the phone on his show a few times, and I always call myself Fat Boy when I call in. So he recognized me when I told him I'm Fat Boy. When I ran into him, I got to meet him at the convention, or the rally rather, and he gave me a big hug and said thanks for some of the things I said. I called Herman after he left the campaign trail, and he had just started with WSB. I called into the show and I said, Herman, brother, I voted for you in the primary because I wanted to see you walk out on the stage with Obama and say, son, there ain't no cream in my coffee. I will be America's first black president. And I thought I could hear Herman spill his coffee. He was laughing so hard at that. One of my finer media moments. But we ran Herman. Herman's a sharp, big dude. He's almost as big as I am. He's probably 6'4".
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, about 6'4", I guess. Maybe.
Wow.
He may be as short as 6'2", but he's a big boy. Sharp guy. Sharp guy. Like Cade.
Very successful.
Cade refers to Herman occasionally as
Mensa level Dolomite?
Yeah,
is that what it was?
That's the one.
Yeah. That one cost you some coffee. Yeah. I remember that one.
Yeah, it did. But what do we get? Herman Cain. We got a black candidate on the Republican side running against Obama. Oh, no. Can't have that. Let's fabricate a couple of sex scandals. Right? Roy Moore. Roy Moore was a solid candidate. All of a sudden, there's sex scandals. The left has learned that they can fabricate a sex scandal, and as long as there are enough allegations, nobody's going to look for evidence. Nobody cares about evidence.
Now, on the left, it has always been the case that it is guilty until proven innocent.
Yes. And I'm glad you brought that. Yes. It's guilty until proven innocent. The lefties hate everything about America. They hate that you're allowed to say what you want to say. They hate that you're allowed to carry a firearm to protect yourself. They hate that you're not automatically guilty when somebody says that you've done something untoward. If you can't just be hanged by it. Well, like the whole, you're a racist, you're a white supremacist, you're a sexist, you're a this, you're a that. all the isms. You know why they love that shit is because they're making a positive claim, and most people on the right are fool enough to rebut the claim instead of making this demand. Do not rebut the claim. If somebody calls you a racist or a bigot or a homophobe or whatever, say, I am not. And because they're going to say, prove it. At the upper level, they have made this the habit of their useful idiots. The useful idiots don't understand the impossibility of proving a negative. They don't understand that that's why they're obsessed with this name calling. But at the upper echelon, they understand that the real power of calling somebody a racist, of labeling people like that, is that if you call me a racist, and I say, I am not a racist, and then you demand that I prove that I am not a racist, it's impossible. You cannot prove a negative. Now, I can offer controverting evidence. I can say, oh, well, I worked on this charity for black people, or I have black friends, or I'm married to a woman that's part Spanish and part Native American. Or, you know, I can lay out contravening evidence, but I cannot prove that I'm not a racist because you cannot prove a negative. I mean, everything that I do that appears to be non-racist could be a lie.
And you can't defend yourself, by the way, without digging your own hole.
Exactly.
Which is why you should never do it. Well, I've had 6 black people over at my house. Well, as, who was it, D.L. Hughley or someone in the original Kings of Comedy said, if you know how many black people you had in your house, you a racist.
Right.
I mean, that's just...
Careful.
Oh.
You'll shut off the feed.
Oh, I thought it was coffee. That's even more important.
But yeah, so you can't prove a negative.
You can't fall into the left's trap. I
right.
mean, that's one of the things we talk about on this show all the time, too. Don't, for the love of God, don't feed it. Don't feed it.
So here's how you deal with that. You make it abundantly clear. You make the demand. No, you have made a positive claim. Therefore, the burden of proof is yours. If you want to make the slanderous claim, then you must prove, because the truth is a viable defense against the claim of slander or libel, right? So if I publish an article that says Donald Trump had sex with a porn star, he absolutely can come and sue me for libel. If I then turn around with pictures and say, nope, there she is, here's a copy of her film, The Witches of Brestwick, I'm not kidding. Stormy Daniels movie.
They literally just put BR in front of Eastwick.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. Ben Shapiro clued me into that. What have you been doing with your spare time, Ben? Anywho, no, we all had to Google Stormy. You know we did.
Wow.
But if suddenly I say, hey, here's absolute proof that my claim is true, then my claim is no longer libel or slander. But if you're going to make a positive claim, you own the burden of proof. That is why in this country you are innocent until proven guilty. You got a dead body turns up, and you don't know who did it. You can literally say anybody. You can literally name any person and say, this person committed the murder. And they cannot say, no, I didn't. Here's proof. You cannot prove that you did not commit the murder. You can only prove, if you can prove it, that you could not have committed the murder. So, you got a dead body and some random Joe. You got a dead body in Los Angeles and some random guy in Japan. And you say, random guy in Japan did it. And he says, no, I didn't. I was in Japan. Oh, what were you doing? Oh, I was home alone watching television. Can anybody corroborate that? No. No. So now you have what is technically a flimsy defense. Now, of course, I mean, that's an extreme example. Obviously, you got a guy who lives in Japan, says, I was in Japan at the time of the murder, and you check his passport, and it doesn't say that he traveled to the place where the murder happened. That's pretty reasonable circumstantial evidence. But, you know, hey, a murder happened between 9 and 11 on Friday night. Oh, I was giving a talk at a charity roast. I've got 200 witnesses that saw me live on the stage. There's no way I could have done it. Right?
I can't get this image out of my head of people. I see a lucrative job opportunity of people walking through the streets of the District of Columbia 2 months or so before an election cycle, before November of an election year, with a cart. Bring out your dead. Bring out your dead. Empty the skeletons in your closet. I mean, there's opportunity there. Mitt Romney's like, oh shit, where's that puppy? What would we do with that? What would we do with that puppy corpse?
Well, you know, I'm writing a new. Oh my God, what's that thing? It's like parody, but it's
a
more.
Book?
No, it's a screenplay, but no. Parody. Talking about political stuff. I forgot words. All right, look, I have been awake with my children, alone in this house, all day, with the exception of about a 45-minute nap that I fell into by accident since 2 o'clock this damn morning. So you'll have to just forgive my fading vocabulary. 그런 것은 거의 죽였어. Anyway,
I do not have this excuse. Somebody pop it up there.
Satire. I'm writing a series. I'm chewing on a series.
A satirical series.
A satirical series where the vampires are all Democrats, dead voters. And
that's
parallels
way too close to truth. If you want to get
dead
you want to
voters,
get satirical, bloodsuckers,
parasites
come out at night. Wow,
murder.
It writes itself.
Crime. Russia.
Yeah, you don't have to be Mel Brooks to put this one together. It's gonna be good.
Oh no, Julie. We didn't just laze around the house all day. We did play some video games this morning. You said take them youngins outside. I took them youngins outside to play, and I worked them. We cleaned the garage here, and then they said they were going to go play at Ma and Granddad's house, and they ran next door to play with Ma and Granddad. And when I went to check on them, they were in there mopping their garage, which apparently they volunteered to do after they bitched and moaned about cleaning my garage.
Why else did you have it?
They're in bed, yes. Huh?
Why else would you have children?
Right, exactly. The
garage,
garage looks great, by the way, and so do the living room, the playroom, the dining room, and the library. Kids did a great job today.
They may even get fed.
We had cheeseburgers and hot dogs.
Ooh.
Okay, we need to talk about Star Wars for a minute because today is the Revenge of the Fifth.
It is.
It's the 6th. And the movie was the Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
So Revenge of the Sixth sounds should be better, except everybody got shit-faced yesterday, and now they're having hangovers. So today, being the 6th, the revenge is actually the revenge of the yesterday, which is the 5th.
So 5th sounds closer to Sith than 6th, even though they start with both with an S. 5th and Sith.
Plus the hangovers.
Right.
Now, if I've said that all in the right order, I should have untied the knot for you. So, I've been reading this book called How to Shoot Video That Doesn't Suck.
I like it.
Note, this shit is crisp. 1080p, sharp, clean. But,
white privilege, paid for all of it.
oh yeah, totally.
Our checks.
But, let's be real. All you're getting right now is a couple of talking heads yammering at you. There's more interesting shit we can do. We do the more interesting shit not on the live show. This slot, until we stop doing it, will always be a live show with me talking to you, and one, or possibly I have another chair here, to other guests. Anywho, I was reading in that book, and it was talking a little bit about the scene of Mos Eisley. And, yes, dear. It was talking about the scene in Mos Eisley, where, of course, Greedo did not shoot first.
No, Han shot first.
Oh, yeah, but then it got changed.
It did. And now it's at the same time. He's just that shitty of a shot from that close range.
Yeah. So, the reason that it got changed later so that Greedo shot first is because there was the wish that Han looked like more of a good guy. And a good guy wouldn't just shoot somebody for no reason. A man has pointed a gun at you. That is reason. That's all the reason you need. If a man has a gun pointed at you and you have an opportunity to make him dead, you are right.
100% of the time.
Okay, I got nothing else to say on that, but I had to get some Star Wars in here, because Revenge of the Sith, 6th, 5th. Cinco de Mayo, cultural appropriation. You see how I did that? It's like witchcraft.
It was almost smooth, but you made it a really big deal.
So, these last 16 minutes, I didn't even get to the bullying thing. We're not going to get to the bullying thing. We may have to do another video about the bullying thing. We'll talk about the bullying thing some other time.
Okay.
I am actually moderately pro-bully.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want me to say? Absolutely fucking not. No. All bullies should die.
Yep. Gonna have to be a whole nother conversation.
How else did the weak become strong and become... Bullies will always exist. I mean, they will. But the weak become strong by taking down the strong. And if the strong is evil, the strong deserves to die. Take down the bully, knock them down a peg if they don't learn their lesson.
I see. We have a different definition of bully.
Ah, okay.
We have different definitions of bully. The definition of bully that you are operating from currently includes basically Democrats, feminists, the hog boy. Those are bullies.
Agreed.
Yeah. We may actually be on the same page.
People who terrorize other people unjustly. When they have no reason
there it
to
is.
do so.
Unjustly. Okay. Yes, we're going to have a whole, totally different show. Let's get back to cultural appropriation. So, yesterday was Cinco de Mayo. And all over these beautiful Los Estados Unidos, people slowed down to, ipa their sombreros and bebe su tequilas and comer some comidas de Mexico como tacos y burritos y, of course, Trump Tower taco bowls. You gotta love those
I love
taco
the Mexicans.
bowls.
I love them. Look at this. Look at my taco bowls.
Yeah.
There's nothing like them.
Look at my taco bowls in my little hands. Sorry. Donnie Two Scoops. We love you. So what do we see? We see all this crap about cultural appropriation. Andrew Clavin just did a show where he was talking about cultural appropriation. There was a little, I don't know if you call it a scandal or whatever, but this pretty young high school girl posted a picture of herself and her date getting ready to go to prom, and she's wearing a dress that has a kind of Asian feel to it. It's a red dress with gold flowers and stuff on it. It kind of looks like a Chinese or Korean traditional garment. And somebody tweeted out, "My culture is not your fucking prom dress." So Andrew Clavin did a show where he talked about that and related material a little bit. And the name of his show was "Your Culture is My Fucking Underwear." Except it's Andrew Clavin, so he wouldn't use the F word. I don't know, he might off air. He sure does have a pretty bald head. But I mean he's got a shiny freaking like neo-Nazi level skint dome. It's shiny for a, Jew who converted to Christianity in his 50s.
Wow.
Dude, you need to get smart on Andrew Clavin.
I do
He's
need
a
to get
sharp
Clavin,
dude.
Yeah.
He wrote a book about his journey to Christianity and eventual conversion and baptism, entitled "The Great Good Thing." It's the name of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I just plugged you, Drew. Good on you. But here's the thing about cultural appropriation. Okay, first things first. Every time I hear somebody cry about cultural appropriation, white people eating Chinese food, white people wearing sombreros, white people
It always starts with
liking black music. Well, my first thought is, how dare you stand there and be not white and own no slaves? How dare you? How dare you stand there and be not white and feel like you have the freedom of speech? How dare you? My culture is not your liberty. Oh wait, it is, because that is what white culture is. White culture is the smashing of slavery. It is the establishment of liberty. It is the off-casting of tyrannical government, and it is the creation of the most successful systems of commerce and government in the history of mankind, lifting more people out of poverty than any other idea ever, without exception. How dare you stand there and pretend like you get to be properly free on your own accord? Because the evidence of history is incontrovertible. De oppresso liber. That is what happens when America puts its teeth into your masters. It may be fair to say that I am a proud Western chauvinist, and I refuse to apologize for creating the modern world. So we get the, well, you haven't said a whole lot at all tonight.
You've been doing
I've been on a bit of a roll. I apologize, baby. Thanks for coming down, though.
Roll out, Autobots. You're good.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I think I'm about ready to pull it to a close. Let me talk. I'm going to talk a little bit about early voting in Georgia, and then I'm going to wrap this up. Clay Tippins is my pick. He's a Navy SEAL. He's a veteran. It's about damn time we had more veterans in politics. I want to see our military. As much as I love the Donald, I'm hoping that in 2024 I get to vote for a warrior. In fact, I'd love for that warrior to be the Mad Dog Mattis. That would be fantastic. Clay Tippins is a is an ex-Navy SEAL, retired Navy SEAL. I'm not sure if he did 20 or not, but anyway, he's Navy SEAL, and I've only heard him make 3 campaign promises. Lower taxes, combat sex trafficking, and get the kids reading.
Wait. Combat sex trafficking? Or he's going to turn sex trafficking into a gladiatorial event?
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
Because you said combat sex trafficking, and I'm like, whoa.
Okay, I meant to say
I'll buy
combat
tickets
sex
to that.
trafficking.
Okay.
I meant to say combat
All
sex
right.
trafficking.
Now we're back on track.
But
Combat sex
I would
trafficking.
totally buy pay-per-view tickets to watch
Next on
sex
FX.
traffickers thrown into the arena with one another. In fact, I'd pay good money to step into that arena.
And lions.
I'll eat a lion.
I'll eat a lion.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for showing up tonight. It's been a great show. Do vote for Clay Tippins. If you happen to be in Rockdale County, shit on that $140 million courthouse. We don't need to spend that kind of stupid money. I'm going to vote against that. I hope you vote against that. I mean, some of you are in the Philippines, for God's sake. I know you don't all get to vote in my area. But if you're here in Rockdale County, Georgia, vote against that bullshit. Vote for Clay Tippins. Vote against the incumbent wherever you can. If you know the incumbent and you like him, I get it. That's fine. And for my taste, every single politician that appears on my ballot, uncontested, I am writing in Mickey Mouse. Period. I will not vote for an uncontested candidate. That shit has got to stop. Hank, I'm afraid Guam's gonna tip over Johnson, has run unopposed until this year.
So vote for the Jew-hating rodent. Do it.
Yes. Vote for the Nazi mouse. That's M-A-U-S.
Nazi mouse.
That's M-A-U-S.
Mouse.
And until next week, we love you. We're going to miss you. We'll see you next Sunday. It'll be Mother's Day. We'll say a little something special about that. And until then, remember, like, subscribe, share, and if you build a man a fire, you'll keep him warm for the evening. But if you set a man on fire, he'll be warm for the rest of his life. Good night. Yes, babe. You can totally be on the show next week since it's Mother's Day. Love you.